All right, so we're going to start looking at quadratic equations, and this specific type. There's going to be, you'll see that there's different methods to solve different types of equations, but this specific type is just going to be using inverse operations, kind of the same tricks that you used in Algebra 1 to solve linear equations. All right. So we're not going to be factoring, we're not going to be completing the square or using some fancy formula. All right. So the goal is to figure out what numbers we need to plug in for x so that this equation is equal to 0. So we're going to square some number, we're going to times it by 4, and then minus 28, and we're hoping to get 0. All right. So what I'm going to do on this one is I'm just going to start by moving the 28 to the other side. So I'm going to move my constant term to the right side. So I get 4x squared is equal to 28. All right, and then I'm going to divide by 4. So the square rooting part, that'll be my last step. So I divide by 4, and I get x squared is equal to 7. All right, and now I'm going to take the square root of both sides. All right, that's the opposite of squaring something. So we'll square root both sides. And it's going to be just an x now. The square root and the x squared cancel each other out. And my answer is going to be this square root of 7, which I'm going to write as plus or minus root 7. Yeah, anytime that you take the square root of these from now on, basically, you're going to be putting plus or minus. And that's because if you square positive 7, if you square positive root 7, that will get you a 7 back. And also if you square a negative root 7. So like if I take positive 7 like this and I square it, I get a 7 back. And also if I take a negative root 7 like this and square that, that'll also get me back to a 7. Okay, so this plus or minus square root of 7, that is my answer. Those are my two answers. Of course, if you wanted to make them into decimals, you could 2.64, but no one likes decimals. Yuck. Some people like decimals, actually. I'm kidding. All right, this next example, I'm going to be doing the same two steps. All right, I'm going to move over the constant term. Move over. All right, that's going to give me negative 2/9 x squared is equal to negative 8. Well, got a couple options here. I know I need to get rid of this negative 2/9. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to multiply by, I'll do it in 2 steps, I guess. You could do this in 1 step just by timesing by the reciprocal of this, but I'm going to do it in 2 steps. I'm going to multiply both sides of the equation by negative 9. Okay, so the negative 9 is going to cancel with the negative and the 9 there, and that's going to leave me with 2x squared. And then on this side, I'm going to be left with a 72. And now you can divide by 2. That'll leave you with x squared equals 36. And then you can take the square root of both sides. And that'll be x equals plus or minus 6. All right, so whether you plug in positive 6 or negative 6 in for this x right here, it's going to satisfy the equation. All right, so if I do alpha y equals, if I do negative 2/9, and let's say I plug in negative 6 for the x, square that and then add 5, I get negative 3 back as my answer, and that's what I was trying to get back. All right. So right here at this step, if you wanted to, it just depends on how you go about solving equations. What I could have done right here is I could have multiplied by the reciprocal of this. It's totally up to you. Multiply by negative 9/2, which is the reciprocal of that. Multiply by negative 9/2. All right, and this will also give you a 72 over here. Oh, sorry, 36. It just does like two steps in one. You do, 8 divided by 2 is 4, and then 4 times the 9. That's where the 36 comes from. Let's see. Yeah, I think I'll quit on that one.